Hello. Hello, gentlemen. My name is Marina Epifantseva. I am Deputy CEO to Tatarstan Investment Development Agency. Again, my name is Marina, and I'm very glad to welcome you today. We are waiting for a very short arrival of Ms. Talia Minulna, who is your interviewer today. First, let us get acquainted with you and start today's interview. We most heartily welcome the um, ambassador, extraordinary and plenipotentiary of the Republic of Tunisia to the Russian Federation, His Excellency Tarak Ben Salem. Hello. Also, we have other participants who are representative of the Tunisian National Tourist Office in Moscow, Mr. Neji Guider. Hello. And the head of Tunisian holding in Russia, Tunisian businessman importing to Kazan, Mr. Hassan Trigi. Hello. Gentlemen, we are very happy to have you with us today. And we are very close in our relations with Tunisia. Each year, the delegation of Tunisia takes part in our International Economic Summit, Russia Islamic World, Kazan Summit. And now that we have you with us, Mr. Ben Salem, we hope this tradition will continue. First, let us show you some history of our relations. We want to show you a short video about past events just to have a word at first. Yes, you know that Tatarstan Investment Development Agency is aimed at attraction of investments to the Republic of Tatarstan. We are a governmental body, and Ms. Talia is the head of the, is also a member of the government of the Republic of Tatarstan, and we understand that communication and partnership with OIC countries is very important, as we are Muslim republic and you are a Muslim state, and we understand that this is very important to have our cooperation going. And we hope that someday our flourishing trade relations will bring investments to Republic of Tatarstan. Thank you for looking at this introduction, and let's look at the video.
وأتمنى لهم إن شاء الله تطور ونجاح في السنوات القادمة ويصبحوا الأفضل إن شاء الله في العام القادم. It's a good opportunity for us to come here to network with the Tatarstan businessmen. We hope that we can invite Tatarstan company to buy our nation product. This is my الاستثمار في هذه البلاد ان شاء الله الجميله، وشكرا جزيلا من تسليم تاترستان.
New contacts and benefits from these contacts we've met, mostly in the future.
Кать. Сейчас не подходи, там Матвей сказал. Начинаю по вопросам.
Такого эффекта и столько информации полезной и так перспективной информации, честно говоря, не видал.
Selamat melabur di Tatarstan.
Инвестируйте в Татарстан, инвестируйте.
Silakan berinvestasi di Tatarstan.
Invest in Tatarstan.
Invest in Tatarstan.
Я сейчас ему. Звук у меня работает? Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, it is my pleasure to welcome you, although we now have to talk through video conferences and with the help of webinars that we organize together. Still, it is a great pleasure for me and on behalf of government of the Republic of Tatarstan and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Tatarstan, Mr. Rustam Minikhanov, to greet you through the screen. And it's a great opportunity for us to discuss what is happening at the moment between the relations between Russia and your country, and Tatarstan being a very active region, would love to take its part and to participate in these bilateral relations between these two countries and contribute as much as we can, especially to the inter-regional economic cooperation, as well as other sectors, because I mainly represent the investment sphere, I work more with business. So for us, it's much more important for my agency to talk about the economics and trading positions, but we also are interested in other sectors like culture, like education, tourism and other sectors that are involved into our relations. So now I would like to give you a word, maybe to greet all of the participants of our webinar. Please, the stage is yours.
I would like, first of all, of course, to send my best regards to the President of the Republic and to thank you personally, Mrs. Talia Minolina, to thank Tatarstan Investment Development Agency for this interest in Tunisia and for the organization of this video conference. Of course, we are very, very interested by strengthening our relationship and our cooperation with your country. And we see that we have a lot of opportunities to work together. And for me, as a new ambassador here in the Federation of Russia, it is the first contact with you, with the Republic of Tatarstan, and I hope that we will have more close contact in the future, and perhaps at the moment of the organization of your next summit, I hope that it will be as soon as possible. And thank you very much again for this invitation, for your time, for your disposal, and for your interest in my country, Tunisia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Mr. Ambassador. So what I would like to tell you about Kazan Summit, Russia in the Islamic World, our forum that we usually meet in together. And this year we happened to reorganize our work, and the whole organizing committee now is working on the webinars with different countries, OIC countries, of course. Like we work together and organize together online discussions, different video sessions and conferences. And also we do lots of analytical job in order to make sure that, that we understand each other's problems and plans. But the decision of going next year with this very summit was made by our president, Mr. Minikhanov, Tatarstan president. He decided to organize next offline summit in spring next year in 2021. Not to do it this year, not to postpone it for autumn, because autumn is also something not very well understandable for us at the moment. So that's why we decided to work online for now, and also to cope with all the problems that we have. Now, the situation with coronavirus in Tatarstan is stabilized. We happen to understand how to cure the disease, how to identify the disease. We don't have any problems with tests, with masks, with people in hospitals, with in general with healthcare sector. But of course the economy is suffering very much, and from the government point of view, we try to support as much as we can small and medium businesses, large businesses as well, by different tax regulations, like tax preferences, the postponing of different other measures that we work with business on. So now my question to you is, what measures does the Tunisian government take to control the situation with it? So how would you comment on it, please?
Thank you very much. Tunisia has been relatively spared from the COVID-19 crisis. We recorded until today only 1,134 cases of contamination and hopefully only 50 deaths, thanks to the government's early reactivity and the good cooperation of Tunisian citizens. All efforts of the Tunisian government have been oriented towards the health response with a single objective: rapid control of contamination to lessen economic and social shock. Physical distancing, screening, and containment measures taken by the government and well enforced, like I said, by citizens, have been successful. In early June, the Tunisian authorities announced that the pandemic was under complete control and that life was gradually returning to normal.
Well, that's very good news. I'm glad to know that you happened to cope with this problem. But what we're gonna face with together, meaning the world economy, is the problem of trading, of recovering, and many other things. So what does the country's government do in Tunisia to support businesses in this challenging period? Do you have any measures for small and medium businesses, for large businesses, maybe for investors, like
Yes.
for business sector in general?
Yes, it is very, very important, the question. Thank you very much. Tunisia is not a very rich country, but $1 billion, that was the cost of economic and social measures to support households, businesses, employees, and the poor and fragile populations. Individual SMEs and the liberal professions have been supported through targeted measures. I would like here to mention only the most important ones, such as the report of payment of taxes due from April for 3 months, deferral of social security payment for 3 months, postponement of payment of bank credit maturities for 6 months, deferral of tax and custom debts over 7 years, guarantee line of $150 million to facilitate access to financing for businesses, special fund of $250 million for the restructuring of companies in difficulties, endowment of $150 million for the constitution of safety stocks of drug, food, energy, and last and not least, of course, postponement of water and electricity cutoff decision to default. These are the main measures taken by the government, but of course, a lot of other measures, social measures were taken to help poor people to not find themselves in daily difficulties. It was a very big effort from the government, and fortunately, we succeeded to stop this big shock of the crisis, which was unexpected for all the world.
So what I can see is that you have a very big complex of different measures. So you diversify it, and you have lots of different measures to support businesses. But we don't know for now whether Tunisian business feels it really in reality, and that's why we actually today have with us Mr. Hassan Trigui, who is the head of Tunisian holding in Russia. And I think my next question will be to directly to him. Mr. Hassan, do you feel any support from Tunisian government? How would you comment, please?
أيها الحضور الكرام، سعادة السفير تونس في روسيا السيد طارق بن سالم، السيدة الكريمة تاليا مينولينا، رئيسة وكالة الاستثمار بجمهورية تتارستان. السلام عليكم ومرحبا بكم جميعا.
Dear audience, dear Ambassador of Tunisian Republic to the Russian Federation, and dear Talia Minulina, head of Agency for Investments in the Republic of Tatarstan. And we greet you all, and peace to all of you.
عندما واجه العالم كارثة فيروس كورونا، أعلنت العديد من البلدان الإغلاق التام وفرض إجراءات صارمة على السفر والتنقل والتجمعات.
And when the world collided with the coronavirus epidemic, a large number of countries imposed a complete ban on travel and the communication between different countries.
وقد دفعت هذه الإجراءات كل من الشركات الصغيرة والكبيرة إلى العمل عن بعد واستخدام التكنولوجيا لأداء مهامها اليومية.
And many countries were forced to adopt new electronic technologies to provide their work through electronic means of communication and new techniques to provide daily activities of the company.
ولكن رغم ذلك من الضروري أن تبدأ الشركات في جميع القطاعات باستخدام التقنيات الإنترنت.
And many companies were forced to provide their daily activities to use techniques provided through internet.
والتغلب على التحديات الاقتصادية والمالية التي قد يسببها فيروس كورونا.
And also new steps to overcome challenges which were imposed by coronavirus.
قد يبدو إدارة الأعمال شيئا مرهقا في البداية، لكن مع مرور الوقت يصبح في غاية الفعالية.
In the beginning, it was quite difficult to reorganize our work, but step by step, we succeeded in reorganization of our work and to provide its daily activity.
في حال استخدام الأدوات الاستراتيجية المناسبة التي تساعدك على التواصل، مثل الفيديو التي يساعدك على التواصل مع فريق عملك بشكل منظم كما أنك متواجد معهم في المكتب.
And including measures like providing video conferences and video communications to meet our partners and our friends in doing business as if you are facing each other in reality.
وبهذه المناسبة نشكر الحكومة التونسية على البادرة، وعدة بلدان في العالم قامت بإعلان حزم ودعم اقتصادي يهدف إلى إنقاذ العمال وقطاع الأعمال بما في ذلك في تونس.
And using this occasion, I'm willing to express gratitude to our representatives of Tunisian government for direct and prominent help given to Tunisian business and to save workforce.
وقد تم إعفاء الشركات من بعض الضرائب وكذلك أعطاء قروض ميسرة ومنح العمال المتضررين بإعانات مالية.
These steps included prompt access to financial assets and keeping workforce and thus providing necessary support to our economic daily activities.
ونحن دائما في اتصال في هذه الجائحة وهنالك مشاورات دائما مع سعادة السفير في روسيا وبعض المسؤولين في تونس. من أهم هذه الدعم الذي وجدناه هي تدعيم الدبلوماسية الاقتصادية وبعض صندوق تصدير بلوس.
And we stay in daily touch with the diplomatic agency of Tunis and the Russian ambassador to Tunisia, and also we provide close cooperation within activity taken in the fund which is titled Expert Plus.
وكل هذه المجهودات تصب في هدف واحد، هي تدعيم الصادرات التونسية في الخارج ومنها إلى روسيا، ودعم المشاركات في المعارض الدولية في روسيا، والتفكير بجدية بالقيام بالأسبوع التجاري في روسيا.
And these measures include also closer support to our activity abroad, including export of our traditional goods to Russia and other foreign countries, and also our participation in the trade week in Russia.
وشكرا.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That was very informative for us. And I know that you started to work with regions, that you not only work in Moscow, and we will talk about it a little bit later on. And what is also interesting is that you mentioned export. So probably now the market, the global market is changing, and we're going to face lots of new challenges. My next question is to Mr. Ambassador. Like, what specialists are in a high demand in your country at the moment? Are there any new professions coming? How do you feel the situation with the sectors of economy that keep developing during the pandemic?
Thank you. Today, we have to say that a new internationalization model is necessary. Is necessary for the world, is necessary for Tunisian company, because now we are speaking about Tunisia, which need more diversification and new partners. The upgrading of the Tunisian industry must rely on upstream integration like research and development. And here, of course, we can find, let's say, a way of cooperation with Tatarstan, and downstream integration like logistics, after-sales services, etc. Startups should be solution to digitize the management of public and private services. The pandemic has demonstrated that communication technologies have played a key role in managing the crisis and solving problems in public administration. Mr. Hassad said now that the work he did was facilitated by this technology of information and communication, and it is something very important to focus on. The speed of action and implementation seen in times of crisis in Tunisia shows that digital technology is a driving force for economic recovery. I would like here to say that Tunisia adopted a law in 2018 called the Startup Act. This law has created a dynamic that has encouraged young people to innovate, launch initiatives, and create their own businesses. I think in the crisis, in the pandemic crisis, we found a lot of youngs who have the necessary skills to help the administration, to help the private sector to continue to work efficiently in this very difficult period.
Thank you very much. So I would absolutely agree with what you've just said about the big technological push that we all happen to face today, because each crisis is also an opportunity for the development. But within the technological push, there is a challenge in terms of employees, and like what we think of is unemployment rate, and also the reduction of staff, so that some of the companies, they automate lots of, they go to digitalization, they like automate lots of processes, business processes, and this is also a very big challenge for them, so that they have to sometimes to fire people. So, and today with us is Mr. Nerji Gunder, and I would like also to greet him. He was appointed by Tunisian national government as a tourism sector regulator in Russia and CIS countries in 2017. So I would like to ask him, in terms of the reduction of the staff, do they face any problems? And of course, tourism is one of the sectors that happens to suffer a lot, really a lot comparing to other sectors. So how he would comment on it? Mr. Neji Gunder, can you hear us? Yes, are you with us?
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for organizing this webinar. First of all, I would like to make an introduction for tourism. You know, the touristic sector is a pillar of the national economy and representing more than 14% of GDP. And it employs more than 500,000 of workers. The tourism, we have actually more than 800 of touristic establishment, most of them with 4 and 5 stars. The most famous world hotels chain are present in Tunisia, such as Four Seasons, Segal, Movenpick, and Radisson. Last year, in 2019, we have reached 9.5 million vacationers. So there is an increase about 13% if we compare it to 2018. For the Russian market, is the second market after France. We have received in 2019 635 Russian tourists in Tunisia. So, and they stay more than the overall nights, it's around 6 million. The during of the stay, it's about 10 days, and they are very appreciate from our professional. They use the thalassotherapy service, they visit the museum, they participate in the excursion. So as said, His Excellency, thanks to the rigorous measures taken early by the government, the qualified medical staff, citizen conscience, utilizing the modern technology to guarantee the safety of the people. Tunisia, let's say, has succeeded to control the epidemic situation and to avoid the spread of the coronavirus. For our office, we had maintained our staff and we work usually, and our main activity is just to reassure the travelers and our partner about the evolution situation in Tunisia. So we had keep touch with all the travel agency, and we informed them about the situation about the board in Tunisia.
Thank you very much for this information. We, as a region that also invites lots of tourists, we think that still people will be in a great demand. There will be a big demand, so there will be a great need of traveling. So people still will travel a lot after the pandemic, although maybe the some new rules would appear for HoReCa sector in general, for restaurants, for cafes, for hotels, because now the question of security is security of health is very important question for all of us, and maybe it always has been a very important question, not only because of this pandemic, but I think maybe now people they will actually pay much more attention to that. So probably the sector will also be reshaped in a way. So now it's a good maybe time to somehow think over how we can respond to those challenges that we're going to face after the pandemic will be finished, right? So thank you very much. And my next question is back to Mr. Ambassador. And as you know, we in Tatarstan are very internationally active region. We try to work with lots of countries all around the world. 155 countries are our trading partners. And we especially work with OIC countries a lot. And how about Tunisia? How do you, Mr. Ambassador, how would you comment on your cooperation with other OIC countries, maybe in this difficult period of time?
To be very frank with you, the cooperation with OIC countries was not very important. And this COVID, in this crisis, during the crisis of COVID-19, Tunisia relied first on its own resources. It should not be forgotten that at the beginning of the pandemic, most of the countries, especially in Western Europe, didn't cooperate enough together, mainly because of the surprise effect and the lack of experience in this area, in the area of the pandemic. Like most countries on the world, and I think that you are well informed by this matter, like most countries, Tunisia imported masks and respirators from China to cope with the spread of COVID-19. China at that period was the only country who has the means and tools to help the other countries in the world. Then Tunisia, of course, tried to make stock of masks and respirators from very good cooperation with China. Otherwise, it may be useful to recall that Tunisia sent a team of doctors and experts to Italy as a sign of solidarity with a neighboring country hit hard by the COVID-19. And the chance of Tunisia is that the spread of COVID-19 was not very important. Then the situation was, let's say, under control from the beginning to the end of the pandemic. Now we are let's say talking about zero contamination in Tunisia and zero death. Then it is, I think, if we can talk about a battle, Tunisia won until now, of course, its battle against the COVID-19. Of course, we agree that the cooperation with Islamic countries and the Islamic world is very important, but the whole world was surprised by the COVID, and the whole world didn't find the ways and means to fight against these phenomena. Then we were all on the same situation, and every country count on its own capacities to fight COVID-19, and fortunately Tunisia succeeded in this matter.
So I would like to congratulate you once again with what you have done so far, meaning the problem of COVID-2019. But and I would also like to pay your attention to the fact that Tatarstan, being very internationally active, is trying to save all the ties that we have, all the business ties, and to support as much as we can our friends and partners. And we also get lots of support from them. And we have general consulate of different countries in Tatarstan. And during the pandemic, they helped a lot to local population. And also our international investors happened to be very socially responsible companies. And they made sponsorship programs. Although they suffered themselves as businesses, they still happened to find the resources to help local population, local doctors. And I'm really very glad that our investors are so kind and so socially responsible people. And I would like now to ask you, dear Mr. Ambassador, going to Russia, because now we discussed, like you mentioned, China, Italy, other countries. I would like to go deeply to the relations between our country and your country, like Russia and Tunisia. How would you comment on the relations between our countries? And in particular, we are really very interested in how do you estimate the relations between Tatarstan as a region with your country and maybe some other Russian regions who are probably more active than we are. So it will be a good sign and push for us, for our team to be ready and to run very quickly after them.
We are here to try to strengthen, of course, relations between Tunisia and the Federation of Russia. You know that the Russia Federation is a very, very large country, and we are aware about the difficulty of covering the entire territory. We consider that our relations with Tatarstan are the best ones on the Federation of Russia. Must be said that cooperation with the Republic of Tatarstan has reached a high level, especially after the President Minikhanov's visit to Tunisia in 2018. But we maintain regular relation with St. Petersburg, especially in the tourism and cultural fields. Historic relations unite St. Petersburg with northern Tunisian city of Bizerta. This port city is the most Russian city in Tunisia. In 1920, it welcomed thousands of Russian sailors and their families who fled St. Petersburg during the Civil War. Together with the Republic of Altai, we have taken joint steps to identify areas of cooperation of common interest. I also had discussions last March with the representatives of the Penza region, thanks to the help of Mr. Hassan, and it was a very, very fruitful discussion. And we have identified some areas of cooperation with the region, with Penza region, such as agriculture, industry, and scientific research. In addition, and thanks to the presence of more than 1,000 Tunisian students in Russia, we have established good relations with the university town of Astrakhan, Tampov, Ryazan, Kazan, Moscow, and St. Petersburg. This Tunisian student colony is a bridge between Russia and Tunisia and helps bring our two friendly people closer together. Of course, we have a very important meeting before the end of this year, the economic commission between Russia and Tunisia, and that event, I hope, will be a new opportunity for us to go forward in this very, very fruitful and positive cooperation between our two countries.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that lots of other Russian regions work with Tunisia, not only Tatarstan. But you mentioned the visit of our president, Mr. Minikhanov, to Tunisia in 2018. That was October, and I was a part of that delegation. And I would like now to thank you, dear Mr. Ambassador, for the hospitable visit, because we were welcomed as very old friends in Tunisia. It's very hospitable country with very tasty food and very nice and kind people. Although we happened to spend there only a couple of days, there was a very intensive business program organized for us. And one of the features of that program was the business forum between Tatarstan and Tunisia. And also we signed the agreement between our chambers of commerce, and we still have it between us. So that we were also welcomed by the Prime Minister Mr. Youssef Shahed, not Elias Fakhfakh, because they changed not long ago, yes, but the ex-prime minister, he greeted us very friendly, and I would like now to use this opportunity to thank you for that fruitful visit. Still it is in our very good memories now, and also we try to work a lot on those agreements that we had set up those days. And now I would like to go with a question to business representatives and to ask them what is the reason, what the motivation for them to work in Russia, maybe in Tatarstan in particular. And my first question goes to Mr. Hassan Trigi. Would you please answer the question?
Сказать в ответ на этот вопрос.
شكرا. الهدف الأساسي من وجودنا في روسيا هو ربط علاقات تجارية قوية بين تونس وروسيا.
Main purpose of our presence in Russia is giving support to our long-standing economic relation between Tunisia and Russia.
وكذلك التعريف بالبضائع التونسية والبحث عن شراكة بين رجال الأعمال التونسيين والروس.
And also getting acquaintance of Russian population with the Tunisian goods and looking for partnership between businessmen from Tunisia and from Russia.
وكذلك تفعيل المجلس الأعمال الروسي التونسي.
And also for giving another impulse to developing activity of council of businessmen between Russian and Tunisians.
لا شك أن الخبرة المكتسبة خلال فترة الدراسة في روسيا ساعدتنا على التأقلم وعمل علاقات قوية مع الجانب الروسي.
No doubt that the experience which we gained during our work with Russia gave us good ground for further development of close cooperation between your country and our country.
وقمنا بالعديد من اللقاءات سواء في روسيا أو استدعاء البعض منهم في تونس.
And we organized a significant number of meetings between our and your businessmen, and we invited some of them to visiting our country.
ووجودنا معكم اليوم يعتبر مواصلة لهذا العمل.
And our presence with you today may be considered as further development of strong cooperation with your country.
ونحن نسعى لبناء علاقة قوية معكم وهذا شرف لنا.
And we are looking forward to further develop and strengthen our close cooperation, and this is a real honor for us.
وأنا شخصياً قمت بزيارة جمهورية تتارستان منذ مدة 10 سنوات.
And myself, I personally visited the Republic of Tatarstan during 10 years.
وأيضاً زرتها في السنة الماضية.
And I also visited your republic last year.
وشاهدت التغيير الملحوظ في البنية التحتية وحسن الكرم والترحاب من أهاليكم.
And I noticed good development of infrastructure of your republic and spirit of friendship and welcoming of foreigners coming to your republic.
وهذا ما دفعنا على بعث وتأسيس البيت التجاري التونسي في جمهورية تتارستان.
And these factors pushed us to establish trade house of Tunisia in the Republic of Tatarstan.
وبهذه المناسبة نتوجه إليكم بدعم هذه الفكرة من جانبكم.
And we are taking this opportunity to express our gratitude to you for giving us good support in this important event.
شكرا.
Thank you very much. That's a very good news, and that maybe will be one of top news after our web session, that there will be a new trading house of Tunisia in Russia, in particular in Tatarstan. And I'm very happy to know that. And we, from our side, from government side, from investment agency that I'm a head of, we will do our best to help you to make all the processes of establishing that trading house as quick as possible. And also we will involve into that job all our business communities that might be interested in trading processes, because what I personally think is that trading is the first step to investment, because first you trade, you see the market, you feel the market, and then you invest. So trading is the first step to investment. That's why it's very important for us. And also I would now like to ask Mr. Neji Guider. He is with us, yes, over here. So I would like to ask the same question to you. About Russian regions, about how you work with Tatarstan, with other Russian regions. How do you feel yourself now?
Okay, so the main reason that motivate us, our different activities. Tunisia is the most preferred Mediterranean destination. So we have a pleasant climate, sun, sea, and lovely Sunday beaches. The historical monument, well conserved and archaeological cities, and the diversity of the landscapes, a good value, quality, and prices. We have direct flight from Moscow and from Kazan. From Kazan last year, we have received more than 18,000. Hello. We have received more than 18,000 from vacationer. In 2018, we have received 17,000, and the planes start in April and in the end of October. So our project, and in the future, we need that we promote Tunisia in more than 20 cities. Actually, Tunisia was the travel market Tunisia was sold here for 20 cities. And in the future, we would like that Tunisia will be destination for during all the year and not just for the summer. So in this regard, the Tunisian government had decided to invest in the Russian travel market since 1995 by promoting the destination in all of the region of Russia. And the results are quite good. Today, Tunisia is the top 5 destination in the Russian travel market. Our partner operated from more than 20 Russian cities. The number of the Russian tourists visiting Tunisia is increasing yearly and average for 10 to 18% from 2016.
Okay, so what we see is the positive dynamic in general, not taking into consideration the pandemic situation. I mean, the interest to tourism development, both from Tunisia and from Russia's side, have been increasing. Yes, and you mentioned the number of cities that also has been increased, and also you mentioned the direct flights, which, to my mind, is a crucial point, not also for tourism development, but also for business development, because what we can see through the figures, through the numbers, that really when we have the direct flight, it's much easier for business to work. And Mr. Ambassador, you mentioned the big technological push. When we announced the webinar before, we just made a big announcement that we're going to have this webinar, and lots of people started to ask questions about Tunisia, about Russia through Instagram. And because we run out of time, I would also like to only ask you one question. And it's also about the cooperation. When will the borders between Russia and Tunisia open? When Tunisia is ready to accept tourists? Because people, they want to go to Tunisia, they want to visit Tunisia. So can you comment somehow on that question, please?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to announce here that Tunisia's borders have been opened already since the 27th of June. Hotels are ready to receive tourists, and the sanitary protocol has been established on this occasion. Of course, if you would like to have more details about how to go to Tunisia, of course, the representative of tourism is here to give you more information about that. But Tunisia is open, and we are trying to give the best offer to all the tourists who would like to come in Tunisia in this summer, or perhaps after this period of summer.
Thank you, dear Mr. Ambassador. The questions that came through Instagram are like, are there any exchange programs for students between Russia and Tunisia? What are the main sectors for investment in Tunisia? What are the economic prospects of for economic cooperation between Russia and Tunisia? And how has the crisis affected agricultural sector? And many other questions that we happened to get. What I suggest is that we will send all that questions to you in written form, and maybe you will give an order to some of your people, so that we will make sure that every question has an answer, and all people who are interested in cooperation with Tunisia in any sector, they are satisfied with the job that we are doing at the moment, because we are run out of time already, unfortunately. But this is also a very good sign that people are interested, that they have lots of questions. That means that we have a great potential in between. So now my last question to you, Mr. Ambassador, is what would you wish to business community in this challenging situation?
I have to say that we have kept in touch with Tunisian and Russian business communities. Of course, now travel to Russia and to Tunisia is a little bit difficult, but we hope that with the 8th session of the Tunisian-Russian Economic and Trade Commission, scheduled to be held before the end of 2020, business between our two countries will resume. In 2020, there has been a very sharp decline in the number of tourists, and also a significant drop in trade. However, during the first quarter of 2020, we recorded 380% increase in the export of Tunisian pasta to Russia, and also a 50% increase in our export of Tunisian olive oil to Russia. It is a positive signal for the business community in both countries. We should always look on the bright side, and we are open for all the questions of the business community, of those who are interested by working with Tunisia, and we are ready to answer to all the questions that you mentioned already. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Ambassador, and I would also like to thank all our speakers from business community, and also to thank all the people who joined us during this web session. And I hope that we will meet in person as soon as possible, dear Mr. Ambassador, and that this situation will only help us to make our ties stronger, better. And of course, I would love to encourage the business community, both from Tunisia and Russian side, that we all face lots of problems in life. And this is life. We always have economic crises. Now we have pandemic. Life consists of different problems. And maybe we should take the opportunity to somehow to cope with that, and to make sure that going through those difficulties together, the process of going through the difficulties together makes our countries closer in all senses of that word. So thank you very much once again for your time, and welcome to Tatarstan for business and tourism both. As soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Inshallah, like we said.
Thank you, inshallah.
Thank you.
Спасибо.